A strong woman doesn't need to raise her voice to be heard. Her presence, her calm, and her inner knowing speak louder than any words could ever echo. When she walks away quietly, it is not because she is defeated, it is because she has conquered the inner war. She no longer feels the need to prove herself to those who don't see her worth. A quiet exit is not an act of weakness, it is an act of deep awareness. It means she has recognized the futility of engaging where her energy is not valued, where her peace is threatened, and rather than create more noise, she withdraws, not in anger, but in clarity. The world often misinterprets silence as surrender, but the monk knows silence is power, stillness is choice. And when a woman chooses stillness over chaos, she embodies the wisdom of the mountain, firm, unmoved, timeless. You see, the ego seeks confrontation, the spirit seeks liberation. The strong woman, guided by her spirit, walks away not because she's running, but because she's already arrived. Her walk is quiet, but her decision is thunder. She has listened to the voice inside her, the voice that said, "You no longer belong here." And she obeyed it. Not with drama, not with destruction, but with dignity. That is her power. There comes a moment in a woman's life when she realizes not everything deserves her reaction, not every battle needs to be fought, not every person deserves access to her energy. Strong women understand the sacred art of letting go, not with bitterness, not with blame, but with grace. Why does she walk away in the first place? Often it is a culmination of a silent battle fought over time, a battle against the crushing weight of unmet expectations. A strong woman by her very nature is a giver. She gives her energy, her passion, her empathy, her time. She invests herself fully in relationships, in projects, in people. She does so not out of a need for validation, but because it is her nature. She builds, she nurtures, she supports. But there comes a point, a silent breaking point, where she realizes that her giving is not being reciprocated. Her efforts are not being met with the same level of care, respect, or appreciation. She finds herself in a situation where she is constantly pouring from an empty cup, trying to fill a vessel that has a hole in it. This is not a sudden realization, it is a gradual, agonizing process. She gives another chance, and another. She holds on to hope, fueled by the belief that things will change, that her efforts will eventually be seen and valued. But hope, when repeatedly disappointed, turns into a heavy burden. It becomes the exhaustion of unmet expectations. She grows tired, not just physically but spiritually. The weight of carrying the relationship, of being the one who always understands, who always forgives, who always compromises, becomes too much to bear. Her quiet departure is not a result of a single event, but a culmination of 1,000 small disappointments. It is the final straw, the moment she realizes that she cannot and should not have to convince someone of her value. She understands that if someone does not see her worth, no amount of effort on her part will change that. Her quiet walk away is her way of saying, "I have given all that I can, the rest is no longer in my hands." It is a powerful act of self-love, a decision to stop pouring her precious energy into a situation that is draining her soul. It is a profound act of acceptance, accepting that some things and some people will never change, and it is not her responsibility to fix them. She walks away not because she is giving up on the person, but because she is choosing not to give up on herself. She walks away because her spirit demands space, because her inner peace is more valuable than outer validation. Letting go is not the absence of care, it is the recognition of value. Her value, and when her value is diminished, she does not fight to be seen, she simply stops offering the gift of her presence. Letting go is not rejection, it is redirection. It is choosing self-respect over repeated disappointment. It is choosing to bloom in silence rather than wilt in noise. Most people do not understand how hard it is to walk away without saying a word. But the strong woman knows that the silence of departure carries more wisdom than the noise of argument. She does not leave with wounds. She leaves with wisdom. She does not leave because she is unloved. She leaves because she finally learned to love herself enough. And when she walks away, she doesn't look back, not because she is heartless, but because she is finally whole. A strong woman walks away quietly because she has achieved something many never will: emotional intelligence. She doesn't need to lash out, prove a point, or punish those who wronged her. She simply lets life do the teaching. She lets silence be the lesson. She knows that reacting in anger gives her power away, so she breathes, she pauses, she chooses clarity over chaos, and when the time is right, she exits calmly, quietly, completely. A strong woman knows her value. She has fought to earn it, to understand it, to embrace it. Her self-worth is not dependent on the validation of others. It is not a fragile thing that can be shattered by a careless word or a thoughtless action. It is a solid foundation, built from a lifetime of overcoming challenges and understanding her own resilience. When a strong woman is in a situation where her value is not being recognized, where she is being disrespected, or where her needs are being ignored, she doesn't question herself. She doesn't wonder if she is the problem. Instead, she sees the situation for what it is: a mismatch. It is a disconnect between her high regard for herself and the low regard being shown to her. Her quiet departure is a direct reflection of this clarity. She doesn't need to argue her case because her self-worth is not up for debate. She doesn't need to fight for respect because she knows it is not something you can force. It must be freely given. Her silence is not a sign of defeat. It is a sign of her unshakable belief in herself. It is the quiet confidence of someone who knows what she deserves and is not willing to settle for less. She understands that staying in a situation that diminishes her is a betrayal of herself. It is an act of self-harm. Her walk away is an act of self-loyalty. It is a promise to herself that she will not compromise her peace, her happiness, or her dignity for anyone. She understands that her time, her energy, and her love are not commodities to be haggled over. They are precious gifts to be given to those who will cherish them. Her quiet departure is a powerful affirmation of her self-worth. It is the final decisive action of a woman who knows her value and is not afraid to walk away from anything that does not honor it. It is a silent victory, a testament to her profound understanding that her most important relationship is the one she has with herself. It's easy to scream, it's easy to argue, but to remain grounded when your soul is provoked, that is true power. And that is why her silence feels so loud, because it is filled with awareness. She understands that those who misunderstand her silence are not meant to understand her presence. That's okay. She doesn't need applause. She doesn't need agreement. She walks with herself, and that is enough. So when she walks away, she takes nothing, and yet she takes everything that matters: her dignity, her peace, her power. Too often, society tells women to endure, to be nice, to keep peace at the expense of their own. But strong women don't follow that path. They draw boundaries, not with anger, but with clarity. A strong woman, as we have discussed, gives her all. She invests her time, her energy, her thoughts, and her emotions. She is the one who remembers the important dates, who offers the comforting word, who provides the quiet support. She is the anchor in the storm, the calm in the chaos, but often her efforts are not seen, they are not acknowledged, they are taken for granted. They become invisible. She finds herself in a world where the loud, the dramatic, and the overt actions are celebrated, while her quiet, consistent, and profound contributions are overlooked. This is not a small thing. It is deeply painful. It is the feeling of being unseen, of being unheard, of having your heart and your soul poured into something that is treated as if it were nothing. It is the experience of constantly giving, without any recognition, without any reciprocation. It is the loneliness of being in a relationship where you feel like you are the only one who is truly invested. Her quiet departure is a response to this invisibility. She is not leaving because she is no longer willing to give, she is leaving because she has realized that her giving is not valued. She understands that a person who truly values her would see her efforts, they would acknowledge her contributions, they would appreciate her presence, they would not allow her to feel invisible. Her walk away is a final powerful act of making herself visible. It is her way of saying, I am here, I exist, and my efforts, my love, and my dedication are not something to be ignored. It is a silent scream for recognition, a desperate plea for acknowledgement that has been ignored for too long. Her silence is not a sign of her giving up on the person, but a sign of her giving up on the hope that they will ever truly see her. She walks away with the quiet dignity of someone who knows her own worth and who refuses to be invisible any longer. She understands that her quiet strength deserves to be seen, to be appreciated, and to be loved in return. A strong woman has learned that giving endlessly only leads to emptiness, so she chooses not to explain, not to justify. She walks away from manipulation, from disrespect, from emotional exhaustion, not because she is cold, but because she is wise. She has learned the language of her soul, and when her soul says, it's time, she honors it quietly, without asking for permission. This is not cruelty, this is courage. Her boundaries are not walls, they are bridges to a better self, and those who truly love her will respect those bridges. So to the world, her silence may seem confusing, but to herself, it is the sound of truth, the sound of returning home, the sound of self-love. And in walking away, she is not turning her back, she is walking toward her future. Every strong woman carries a monk within her, a part of her that seeks peace, stillness, and higher wisdom. When she walks away quietly, she is not abandoning others. She is honoring the monk within, the part of her that seeks meaning, not madness, growth, not gossip, stillness, not survival. She doesn't chase. She doesn't cling. She simply becomes more of who she is. Her silence is the sound of alignment, the inner compass pointing her away from toxicity and toward transformation. She walks not to escape but to evolve. She knows that her destiny cannot unfold in environments that suffocate her soul. So she departs mindfully, consciously, completely. This walk is a ritual, a rebirth, a reclaiming of her light. And when she is gone, you don't hear doors slamming or voices shouting. You feel the shift. The absence of her energy becomes the loudest presence in the room. Because the strongest ones never beg to be seen. They simply rise, and in that rising they leave behind everything that no longer serves them, including the need to explain why. This is the path of the monk. This is the path of the strong woman. Finally, let us reach the ultimate truth, the final lesson in this quiet departure, the wisdom of self-preservation. A strong woman understands that her most important responsibility is to herself, her well-being, her peace, her happiness. These are not luxuries, they are necessities. She has learned, through years of experience and quiet introspection, that she cannot pour from an empty cup. She has come to understand that her energy is a finite resource, not to be squandered on those who do not respect it. Her quiet walk away is a profound act of wisdom. It is the final conclusion of a long process of analysis and self-reflection. She has weighed the costs and the benefits, and she has come to the undeniable conclusion that staying is more damaging to her than leaving. She understands that a relationship, a situation, or a person that consistently drains her, diminishes her, and disrespects her, is a poison to her spirit. And just as you would not knowingly drink poison, she will not knowingly remain in a situation that is toxic to her soul. Her silence is not a sign of her being unable to express her feelings. It is a sign of her understanding that her feelings would not be heard, or that they would be dismissed, or that they would be used against her. She has already had all the conversations. She has already expressed her needs, her concerns, and her hopes. Her quiet departure is the final word, the one that says, "I have said all I can say, the rest is up to me." It is a powerful act of taking control of her own life, of her own destiny. It is a decision to prioritize her own mental, emotional, and spiritual health above all else. This is not selfishness. This is not a lack of love. This is the highest form of self-love, the one that understands that you cannot truly love others if you do not first and foremost love and protect yourself. Her quiet walk away is a testament to her profound wisdom, her understanding that her peace is not negotiable, and that her well-being is her ultimate responsibility. It is a final powerful declaration of her self-preservation, a silent vow to herself to always choose her own health and happiness.